She says, have you created a video or discussed nutrient timing and if you should or should not eat carbs in the morning? I don't think I have, so I'm going to address it right now. So first we have to address what are carbs. Sarah, did you know that vegetables are carbs? Celery is 75% carbs. Kale is a carb, cucumber is a carb, carrots are a carb. All the vegetables are primarily carbs, except things like avocado, which are technically a fruit, whatever. But most vegetables are primarily carbs. So I think you should be eating carbs all day. Veggies all day. You know that's my strategy. 8 to 12 fist-sized servings of vegetables. In that way, I think you should be eating carbs all day. However, I'm assuming you're meaning more refined carbs like breads, pastas, things like that, and or whole grains, unrefined carbs, but things like quinoa, rice, things like that, or maybe starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, etc. So that's how I'm going to address the rest of the question. Again, I don't know your specific goals. If you're an endurance athlete and you're not on a keto protocol, which is not necessarily what I would recommend anyway, you may need more carbs than what I'm about to suggest. For most people, I would suggest moderate doses of these other than veggie sources of carbs spaced throughout the day. So if you're going to eat them at all, have a small portion with breakfast. For example, I usually have a cup this size of berries with my breakfast. That's some carbs. Aside from veggies, I might have a little bit of quinoa or lentils or something in a chili or soup or stew that I'm having at lunch. I may have a little bit, like a quarter of a sweet potato, half of a sweet potato, a whole small sweet potato at dinner. And so in that way, I'm spacing my non-veggie carbs out throughout the day. That's what I would recommend. If you're really only looking for one time to have them, I'm going to surprise you right now. I would suggest having it at night. Now, this is not sugar. I do not suggest having sugar at night because it impedes your sleep, but actually having some complex carbohydrates at night can help you fall asleep faster and help you stay asleep longer. Doesn't have to be right before bed. Maybe just having that potato or a little bit of quinoa or something like that with dinner, if you have trouble sleeping, can help you fall asleep and stay asleep more quickly. Also, when we have too many carbs, even if they're the healthier type of carbs, aside from vegetables you can never have too many. Literally, you'd have to eat 34 pounds of broccoli to start gaining weight or anything like that. But any carbs aside from vegetables, if we eat too many of them and they're not balanced out appropriately by protein and fat, we get blood sugar spikes that lead to energy imbalances and lead us to not feel our best, not feel our most productive and energetic throughout the day. So I would rather, if you're going to have that slump at all, post-carb slump, I would rather that be at night when you're trying to sleep anyway, as opposed to in the middle of the workday or even at the beginning of the day, something like that. So if you're only choosing one place and it's not a sugary carb, it's just a vegetable carb or whole grain carb, then I would put it at night. Otherwise, small doses spaced throughout the day would be when I would time my carbs.